What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave. Hope that you're having an awesome day. And I'm going to be talking about some stories today. This is the first time that I've done like any story content, like talking about news and all of that. But I just felt like it was time to kind of jump back on the saddle again. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit kind of a format, looser format or whatever. I don't know. I'm figuring it out as I go. But if you like it, let me know by liking it, sharing it with people, and if it's something that people really enjoy, then hey, keep making it, keep doing it. So yeah. Before we get into all of that, we do have live streams Monday and Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. over on Facebook.com/NerdCape Network. Check those out. Come have some fun. We were doing a lot of awesome stuff right now. We put out a Concrete Genie review. We just put out as well some live streams, but we're also doing a reaction to the Star Wars trailer that just came out and showing off some Outer World stuff as well, and probably going to be doing some Let's Plays from that because I just played a little bit of it. I'm really liking it. So, but let's jump into it. There's been a lot of stuff going on this week, from delays to whatever Bethesda is doing, and we'll just start with Bethesda. Bethesda put out this week a new service, a paid service called Fallout First, and you can pay like $13 to $100, $13 a month to $100 a month, and get several benefits. Benefits. I put air quotes there because yeah, one of the big ones is that you get your own, server and everything. But it turns out that anyone can join your server that is on your friends list, or if you're a merchant or whatever, people can jump into your games. And there already people have been there. They're literally reusing some of the servers that they've already had. There's already things that have been looted. There's already like signs of people being there. So yeah, that's not very good. Also, they have a thing where you can put scrap. I haven't played Fallout 76, but you can put scrap in the scrap box, and it's like unlimited and everything. But there's several people that have logged out of the game and then came back to play, and all their scrap is gone that they've put into this box that's supposed to keep everything. But this is after saying that they're going to have to push back their NPC release and everything. So I don't really know what Bethesda is doing, and it's just a bigger case for games like Outer Worlds to really come in and steal their thunder, because Fallout 76 launched to kind of crickets and went on sale like the week after it came out. And now they're trying to charge more for things that they should have put in already. And there's so many other things. If you want to look up more of it, there's a ton of stuff out there. I just kind of wanted to put that out at the very first. But there is some awesome stuff that is happening this week that's came out and everything. Let's start with one that is exciting to me, is Batman Arkham Legacy, Warner Brother Montreal's next game. This is a rumor, of course. According to a well-known leaker on Reset Era, Batman Arkham Legacy is the name of the developer WB Montreal's upcoming project. Starring The Dark Knight, the game has been rumored to be in works. We saw them tweet out around Batman's birthday and everything, and I really thought when we were doing the state of play back in September that they were going to announce. Man, that would have been so awesome, but they didn't. But this Twitter user that has had, several things that they've leaked has been, confirmed, especially during E3. They said Arkham Legacy, and there's some stuff about being able to play the Batman family, the Bat family. That makes me excited because Batman's awesome to play. Batman's my favorite comic book character, but having the whole family involved, we've had Nightwing, we've had Red Hood, we've even had Robin in the games over the years, but being able, even Batgirl, I remember the DLC for her as well, and Harley Quinn, but she's not part of the Bat family. But there's been so many different things that have been added to the game, but being able to, um, have it where all of them are, readily available. You have Red Robin, you have Batgirl, you have, just all of these characters that really play into it. I'm wondering if they're going to, where it's going to fit in the timeline. Is it post Arkham Knight? Is it right after Arkham Origins? Because at that point, I don't think any of them were around. The math is kind of weird there, how all of, the Bat family would be made, but it's exciting. What is kind of the thought is that we're going to see this at the Game Awards in December, that we're going to see the trailers and everything there. I wish they wouldn't have like teased anything back at, in September about that being a game, but it is what it is. But I'm excited. I hope you are too. I'm curious to see what kind of gameplay is going to be there. I know we've already have an established kind of, moniker, if you will, to it, but I'm excited to see what is going to be added into this next game. And if it's going to be called Legacy, like if it's after Arkham Knight, that makes sense. Batman's legacy. Like what's his legacy? And see if it's going to be, like Dick Grayson taking over the mantle of Batman. That'd be pretty cool. But there's been a ton of delays. Like it has been the week of game delays. And I'm not mad. Like I'm not mad at all that people are delaying games, because when a company delays a game, that means there is time for it to be better. So first and foremost, there's been three different instances with multiple delays. And the first is Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed until May. It was going to be coming out in February, but has now been pushed back until May. And Neil Druckmann went on to the PlayStation blog and said, "We realized we simply didn't have enough time to bring the entire game up to the level of polish we would call Naughty Dog quality." Now, I'm not mad at that at all. Like we've seen several Naughty Dog projects get pushed back and get better. I'm good with that. Like I have no problem. We saw that with Uncharted 4, and they even had so much stuff by that point that they made The Lost Legacy. So I'm good with that. But in kind of response with that, and IGN has an article, if you want to go read it, I'll try to put it down in the links down below and everything, about how Last of Us being pushed back has possibly made it where Ghost of Tsushima, I'm really bad at pronouncing that, has been pushed back due to that as well. There hasn't been any concrete date for this game, but this is something that is now being pushed back. Jason Schreier over at Kotaku tweeted out this. Let me scroll down and get there. Ghost of Tsushima doesn't have a public release date yet, but has been bumped later into 2020 to account for this delay. Don't expect them to suddenly turn it into a PS5 game or anything, but it was originally planned for the first half of the year, not anymore. Now, of course, this is a Sucker Punch game. The last game that they made was Infamous Second Son, and that was a launch game for the PS4. And this could be one of those games that it's at the very tail end of the PlayStation 4 cycle and then gets brought into the PlayStation 5. It would be a really cool way, a really easy way to have a, PS4 version that is, it runs really well, and then have a PS5 version that is even more souped up, even more powerful. I think that's more than likely going to be the case where, they release it, and I don't even know if they would even call it a remastered version, because it's going to be only a few months, but they might. We saw it with Last of Us. They did a remastered version for the PlayStation 4 from the PlayStation 3. So I could definitely see that, but I think Last of Us being pushed back is definitely part of the issue here, because PlayStation wants there to be some breath between it, and now that that's in May, you're probably going to have to push it back to August or September. This past year, 2018, Sony was putting out game after game after game, and it didn't really seem like a big deal. But I think that they're, trying to, plan out, really strategically plan out how they're going to release things. The next thing, and this actually surprised me, but I think Ubisoft is seeing the fruits of their labor. They're finally reaping what has been going on in that yearly cycle of producing games. We saw, with Ghost Recon Wildlands, it did, you know, really good job. And now Breakpoint, which had been multiple years since Wildlands, but Breakpoint has been a pretty big disappointment. You can, go check all of that out. But in response to that, in response to how the gamers have voted for their wallet, essentially, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Watch Dogs Legion has been delayed. Ubisoft CEO and co-founder Yves Guillemot stated that the reason for these delays was to give each developer more time to craft its vision of each game. It is harder to generate interest for a sequel to a live multiplayer game where prior iterations benefited from years of optimization, Guillemot said. Conse- Consequently, we need to make sure that there is more time between each iteration of live games. And I think they have caught themselves in a snare that is really bringing them into this point. With we saw it with Assassin's Creed a few years ago. They kept year after year after year, and people just kind of like, man, I'm tired of this. Once they got to Syndicate, like Syndicate was not a bad game, but people were really tired of Assassin's Creed. They took some time off, put out Origins, and man, Origins was awesome. And I know Odyssey was really good as well. But these live service games, it's saturating the market big time. And a lot of these publishers don't even really know what the game is going to look like a year in advance. They're not really understanding what it is. And you can see that from several cases, but Anthem being one of the biggest ones. Here's our roadmap, and then, oh, we're not doing the roadmap anymore, but buy our game. And Fallout, look at that. We're going to put NPCs in there, and we're pushing that back. Now give us $100 to keep playing our game. It's just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. But I'm glad that Ubisoft is pushing these games back so they can really feed into it. Rainbow Six Quarantine and Watch Dogs, Gods and Monsters. Like, I think that's a smart idea, especially for the first two that I mentioned. Like, those are really bigger titles for Ubisoft, and Rainbow Six Siege has been doing amazing. Why would you try to kill that off with an inferior version? Just like what Breakpoint is to Wildlands, is a much inferior version than the predecessor. But in interesting news with video games, and then we'll touch a little bit on some movie news here. We have someone else moving over to Mixer, and Twitch is losing yet another hugely popular streamer to Mixer. Shroud has been moved over to Mixer, and this is what he had to say about the move. Streaming is my passion, and I owe my success to my fans who have helped me get to where I am now. Mixer provides the flexibility to center my attention around them. I'm excited to join the Mixer community as well as continue to build relationships with both player and fans. And that's huge. Like, that is the second major streamer that has left Twitch to go over to Mixer, and Twitch has now been making its own moves. Like, they got a bigger YouTuber to come over to Twitch, and they even paid one of the larger Twitch players to stay on the platform. And I think that's an interesting thing, to pay a already person on the platform more money when there's a ton of them on there. Mixer, though, is making huge moves, getting larger people, but I think it's going to take some time for them really. Like, it's going to take some major streamers really moving over there. Like, say, like Dr. Disrespect went over there. That would pull a lot of weight. Like, I know, Ninja's big and Shroud is big and all of that, but you're going to have multiple of these. I even think about how AEW right now has got multiple big star wrestlers, but they don't have as big of a roster as WWE is, but they're doing a lot of awesome things. So let me know what you think about that down below. Do you think it's the end of Twitch? Do you think that's like the big thing that's happening? Because I know Facebook gaming has started to be really big, and I'm really enjoying how Facebook is kind of prioritizing things for me. That's just my opinion. That's my experience. In movie news, we're going to cover one story. The Joker has taken the top spot for R-rated movies over Deadpool. Joker has brought in $785 million in the global box office, and that's huge. This movie was not supposed to make that kind of money, but it's been doing blockbusters clearly. So there you go. Let me know what you think about the Joker movie. I haven't watched it yet. Like I haven't watched it. Hadn't had time and all that good stuff. But I've heard nothing but amazing things from Joaquin's performance to the music to everything. But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are down below. So there we have it, everybody. There is the first, whatever you want to call this, not a podcast, but it's some sort of video. It's the an update. We'll go with that for right now until I can come up with something fancy. But if you like the videos, let me know down in the comments below. We'll keep doing them if people like them, people want them, all that good stuff. These are the stories that interested me the most this week. So there you have it. Definitely check out the review for Concrete Genie. That game is awesome. Like if you're looking for an awesome game, that's the one you need to check out. We also, like I said at the beginning of the show, we have live streams Monday, Thursdays from 7 to 9 over at facebook.com/nerdcave network. Check that out. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe and notification bell so you get notified what's going on here. And let me know who's your favorite Batman character down below. Since we talked about two Batman things, just put them down there. Put it down there. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. You're appreciated beyond you could even imagine. I appreciate y'all so much. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. This has been Zach. Y'all have a blessed week.